So the word on the street is, according to the United Nations World Happiness Report, Denmark is the second happiest country in the world. And why is that? That's what we're going to explore in this video. I'm very concerned about my camera falling over because it is a bit windy. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about some of the reasons that this is one of the happiest countries in the world. First of all, there is a lot of trust, not only with each other, but also with the government. The government puts a lot of effort into making equal opportunity for everyone. That includes education, that includes jobs, wages. They work very hard to close the gap between income, and so that makes everyone kind of, in a lot of ways, on an even playing field, and that contributes to happiness because it kind of decreases hustle culture. I live in a country where hustle culture is everything because you can make more money and become more successful and have all these things, whatever, and it's a constant competition and also a struggle to not only survive but thrive in a country like that. Another point along with government and trusting is the access to education. They make sure that everyone here has pretty much access to this same education, and that's very interesting. If we're going to be playing the comparison game, that is vastly different from the United States. I find it very interesting because in a lot of ways I think in the United States that would be near impossible just because of the sheer size of the country, all the different states, all of their rulings. Our population is absolutely ginormous, so it makes me wonder if we would even have the ability to do a thing like that. Another point that I love is their importance on outdoor spaces, green spaces, actually spending time outside in nature by the canal, in green spaces that the government also or the cities have put together for the citizens of Denmark, of Copenhagen. For example, we just walked past someone who was just sitting on a bench, like organizing her receipts. For example, it's kind of a nice day out, the sun's out, it's dinner time, people are hanging out along the water, along the canals. Lots and lots of green, kids are outside playing, it's a Monday. Being outside, enjoying nature, enjoying the architecture, hanging out with people we love. Also, I think something that has to do with it would probably be the work-life balance. And we all know that that is something that's very hard to actually achieve. But the way that their work days are shorter, they get more breaks, and the companies seem to actually really care about their employees and having them be in a healthy mindset so that they can actually be more productive in the workspace. Long breaks during their workday, time to spend with their families. It's all of the things that we're doing right now.
From the hours of 7 a.m. to about 5 p.m., maybe 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., that's when it's usually not as busy, but then the streets are packed by maybe 5 or 4-ish, which is cool.
People spend a lot of time outside, if you can't tell. It's not warm out, but look at all these people walking by.
It's pretty warm.
Okay, let's take a pause. We'll reconvene in a minute because we are hungry. Okay, let's jump back in and talk about a few more things. Another thing that the Danish people really do emphasize is sustainability. There's this giant garbage can behind me, but they do often separate recyclables from composting from just general waste, and that's one way that they keep the environment in a clean, livable way. Yes, and yes, and yes, and yes. Drink the tap water. We have such a privilege in these places of drinking tap water, having the ability to drink it and it being safe, so do it. Do it. Reduce your plastics, single-use plastics. This is what we need. I think I'm gonna move here. I don't know, everyone stay tuned. You'll also find there's not a lot of plastic bags that they give out, and if they do, there is an emphasis on actually recycling or reusing them. For example, we went to get a couple brews before the hot tub experience, and they gave us a reusable bag for no extra charge with the name of the brewery on it, and that's something, it's kind of like a souvenir. We'll take it home, we will reuse it, we'll use it for our groceries, and it seems like a lot of places do stuff like that. One thing that I don't think I've talked about at all yet is this idea of Hygge, the Hygge lifestyle. lifestyle. And what Hygge is basically the prioritization of coziness, comfort in all areas of life. This is a word that you will see everywhere on all of the shirts, there's board games of Hygge, all these things that really just emphasize being cozy, being comfortable, being surrounded by your loved ones, a little bit of laughter, and that really is like a lifestyle for them. A few other things I also want to point out are their robust parental leaves, meaning that when people go and become parents, they have a lot of time off of work to actually spend with their child, make sure their child is in good hands. There's also a general overwhelming feeling of safety, which allows for younger kids to get used to the public transit systems at a younger age, feel comfort and trusting with the community that is around them. Let's look at everyone rides bikes here. It's funny that their fast food is Joe and the Juice, which is like a healthy option. And it seems like a lot of their fast food is like that. I think there's a few more things that I want to touch on, but I need to eat again. So all week we've been exploring why Denmark is one of the happiest countries in the world. And here I stumble upon the Happiness Museum. Let's go in.
Logan and Ran. Okay.
So the Happiness Museum taught me a lot about the world and my own country and this country of Denmark. I feel like I could literally talk about this forever, and therefore I might do a podcast episode about it. But essentially the Happiness Museum is based upon the United Nations World Happiness Report, where they surveyed 1,000 people every year in as many countries of the world as they could. And then based on that and those people's testimonies, they got a full-on rating for each country where they fall on the happiness scale. Mike Wicking is the founder of the Happiness Museum, who also works with the Happiness Institute and is also the author of the Little Book of Hygge. Basically, he studies happiness around the world. What makes a person happy? Do genetics play into that? Does your positioning in the world play into that? How do wealth and happiness correlate? Is correlation causation in this kind of environment? There's a lot of different things that go into what makes a person happy. Not only just a person, but also a nation. I also feel like this museum kind of challenged my own thoughts about happiness, my own insights, and the difference between utopia and dystopia and where these ideas even came from in the first place. The crazy thing is that we are currently absolutely surrounded by happiness. All of these Post-it notes and artifacts in here are things that make people unbelievably happy. What if we just filled our spaces with this all the time? A lot of Taylor Swift. It also really re-inspired me to dive into some other books. Like, I remember in high school having to read A Brave New World by Aldous Huxley and not even like being invested, like not like just trying to get through it, reading on Cliff Notes so that I could get information so I didn't have to read 10 chapters a night. And now I'm wishing that I paid more attention. I feel like I missed out on something great there. So this has re-inspired me or sparked my curiosity again to really dive into these ideas of utopia and dystopia and really what that looks like in our everyday lives. There was all kinds of different little exhibits and experiments that you could interact with throughout the museum, which I really enjoyed, and I really just feel like I learned a lot. And huge shout out to Anna, who was working at the Happiness Museum. Amazing soul, just has an amazing story. So as happiness ambassadors that we are now, it gives you suggestions of things to do to keep spreading the happiness. One of them was learn the name of someone new. And even though it happened accidentally, we met Anna and she is just an amazing soul. So challenge yourself to do that today. So if you ever find yourself in Denmark and you're Copenhagen, definitely check out the Happiness Museum. It's incredible. It's worth looking into, and it's research worth funding, I think, because the more that we learn about what makes us happy, the easier it's going to be to make everyone in the world happy, right? One of my biggest things in life is fun, and having fun makes me happy. Hedonistic tendencies, things that we do for pleasure, things that make us happy, and I think that happiness does equate to like a good life overall.
There is a lot of happiness in the world, and oftentimes it gets overlooked. We tend to look at things that can annoy us, or to look at things that are apparent because they cause discourse. but there's a lot of happiness in the world, and there's a lot of different ways that we can create it and find it. The Happiness Museum made it more of an attainable goal to reach it. It was cool. It was small, but I think it created a more intimate setting to really learn about happiness. Become a happiness ambassador.
So I think this week we have learned why Denmark is one of the happiest countries in the world, and I encourage you to do more research into what makes you happy, what makes a person happy, a nation happy, and I feel like you'll learn a lot about yourself and your life and the world around you, and keep living large, and I'll catch you on the flip. I think when the emphasis is a lot on togetherness and comfortability and even sustainability, it just makes for societies working together a lot better. And while we don't quite have this cultural thing in America, we still do have hug-up moments, right? Think about all of the times that you spend with your family and your friends just enjoying togetherness in a nice, cozy way. That's their lifestyle here. I definitely encourage you to not only visit new places, but embrace new lifestyles and see what you can learn from them. And keep living large. As always, I'll catch you on the flip.